Good morning, St. Peter's. What is the Revelation? The book of Revelation is called, Revelation. It's singular. Revelation. Often I hear people say, the Revelations, book of Revelations, and so on and so forth, but it's actually only one revelation. And this is really, really important because it helps us to understand that John's trying to tell us one thing. One thing. And I actually think that we haven't quite got to the revelation yet, because the revelation is getting toward the center of the book, because that's how the book has been kind of structured, is at the middle of the book we're going to get to the revelation. Now, why do I say that? Listen to this, chapter 10, verses 1 through to 6. You might like to pause and read it, or you can listen. Then I saw another mighty angel came down from heaven, and then in verse 5, then the angel that I'd seen standing on the sea raised his hand and swore by the one who lives forever and ever, who created heaven, what is in the earth, and the sea and what is in it. And he said this, listen, there will be no longer a delay, but in the days when the seventh angel will blow his trumpet, then the mystery of God will be complete, as he announced to his servants, the prophets. Now remember, we've been looking at the structure of the seven seals, and we've seen 6 seals, then we see a pause, and then we see 7th seal, and it's the final full judgment. 6 seals, judgment that we all live under, but then we have this pause and this removal of God's people who are going to be protected and who are going to overcome and escape the judgment. And then we have the final full judgment. And we see the response, if you remember, the response is people do not repent. The revelation is coming now in chapters 10, 11 and so on. 10 and 11. And now, I'm not going to reveal the revelation today, but the revelation is John's message to the people that lived thousands of years ago who read this letter to the 7 churches. The revelation is centered on how do they live amidst people who are trying to persecute them, their pressure to conform to the people around them. They live with the Romans who sacrifice to all different types of gods. There are the Jews who believe in the one God, but you have the need to sacrifice to all the different types of gods to allow things to keep going in the economy and in industry and in life. It's just seen, Jesus is just seen as another God amongst many. Sure, you can worship him, but you must sacrifice to the other gods, and it's important to keep things going. They are pressured with their very lives on compromising, and so it says, to the one who overcomes, to all the 7 churches, keep persevering. How do we live amongst people? How do we live in the world, but not of the world? And how do we keep witnessing that we worship Jesus Christ, the one who has died for us, the slain Lamb who is now the risen Lord, at the right-hand side of God on the throne, at the centre of the universe, the sacrificed Lamb. And this is the issue that John is addressing. And this is what the revelation is connected to. John is going to give them a revelation. He's going to reveal to them a mystery. That's why it says there's no longer going to be a delay. The 7th angel, the mystery of God will be complete, and he's going to announce it. How do they live amongst people who, even to the extreme, want to take their lives, and if they don't sacrifice to other gods, and if they don't play the game of being in the world and being more connected to the world, then they might lose their very lives. What do? Well, that's the revelation. We'll get to that tomorrow in chapter 11. But before we do, listen to what happens to John. There's a scroll. He gets another scroll, and he's been given a scroll. And it says here in verse 9, take and eat it. It will be bitter in your stomach, and it will be sweet as honey in your mouth. So John takes the scroll out of the angel's hand, and he said to me, take it and eat it. It will be bitter in your stomach. It was as sweet, he reports it was as sweet as honey in my mouth, but when it got into my stomach, it became bitter. The point is, at the very start of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1, the title was the revelation of Jesus Christ that God gave Jesus to show his servants what must soon take place. And he made it known by sending an angel to his servant John. There's a chain here, God to Jesus, to the angel to John. Now we have an angel who's given him a scroll, and this chain has been working through God to Jesus to angel and now to John. And John's about to say what the revelation is. But one thing we do know, before we get to the revelation tomorrow, is that whatever it is, there's a sweet element to it and there's a bitter element to it. It's a bittersweet message and revelation for God's people. And you'll have to tune in tomorrow as we read chapter 11 to see more.